registered for this conference and are not here and you know them, please can you just do them a favor of reaching out to them? We are waiting for them. Once it is 11:10, we are going to be having Mr. Tobi Omolere on this call. I can already see him on this call. Welcome, sir, Mr. Tobi Omolere. It is so good to have you in our midst this morning, and we are excited. We are looking forward to your section. It is 11:10 already, so we are just going to be starting this section. And ladies and gentlemen, join me as I welcome Mr. Tobi Omolere. He's a nurse and he is the founder of Nursing Conception Initiative, NCI. You are welcome, sir. You have the floor.
All right, thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, ma'am. It's my pleasure to be here today, and I've been told I have 45 minutes for both the session and question and answer. So I'll try not to waste your time. I understand that you are very busy people, you are nurses, you are professionals. Um, Please, my moderator, what's your name so I can be able to interact with you in this session? Hello, moderator. Okay. If you are here, please just use an emoji or something. Let me understand I'm talking to actual people because that's the only way we'll achieve something here today. Mr. Badmos, I can see you. Thank you.
Okay, sir. My name is Ifeoluwa Pelumi Akinbade.
All right. Yeah, it's my pleasure, Ifeoluwa. So please, if you
My name
unmute
is
your,
Ifeoluwa Pelumi Akinbade.
yeah, thank you, Ifeoluwa. If you unmute yourself so that it can be an interaction instead of just a one-way conversation. I don't know if you get. I think it's much better that way so that we can all interact and achieve something in this session. Right. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, um,
Good afternoon.
Mrs. Abigail. Yeah. Good afternoon, Mrs.
Good
Esther.
afternoon, sir.
Good
Good afternoon.
afternoon. Good afternoon, Mrs. Patricia. Um, Mrs. Mary, Mr. Samson. I'm sorry if I'm getting the
Afternoon
name.
to you too.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. Right. So my name is
Well,
Tobi. I'm a nurse, and I'm happy and proud to be one. And today we'll be talking about rebranding nursing, leveraging tech and media. Most of the things I'll be saying today are things that you already know, but it's just things that we have to continue to say so that it sticks, and we are calling our awareness to it once more, right? So I would just a moment. I mean, I'm using a new laptop, so it's sort of weird, right? So if you see um this any of this picture, let's start with the picture of the lion. What comes to your mind when you see a lion or when you hear about a lion? Can anyone help me?
fear,
The
fear,
air,
aggression,
fear, yes,
yes,
something like bravery, right?
yeah, braveness, what to
Yeah,
do to save
yeah,
one's life.
yes. That is what a lion depicts:
Yeah,
fierceness, power. Um, people
power.
generally call lion king of the jungle, right?
Yes.
Um, and we've seen several things on social media these days where people argue that lion is apparently not the strongest animal in the jungle. People have even argued that tigers are stronger than lions.
Yeah.
But we've been made to believe since childhood, through the movies that we've seen, through our experiences with the media, that lion is the king of the jungle. And when we see lion, we believe this is the strongest animal in the animal kingdom. Right. When you see the logo of this mobile telecommunication network, what comes to your mind? When you hear about Glo, what comes to your mind?
Communication,
Yeah, communication. And what is Glo best known for negatively?
You don't get what you want. You pay and you don't poor. You're poor network.
Good. So you can hear people say it multiple times. You don't get network.
You pay and you don't get your desire.
Exactly. So when you see glow, if it comes to your mind that you pay and you don't
Negativity.
get what you want, the network is poor. However,
Poor network.
there are people in Victoria Island, Lagos, where Glow Network is one of the best, that still say the same thing and that still believe the same thing. Are they not enjoying Glow Network? Of course they are. But when they see Glow, what comes to their mind is poor network. When you see this man dressed like an Eastern, Middle Eastern person, what comes to your mind?
Terrorism. Osama bin Laden.
Osama bin Laden, terrorism.
Terrorism. Horror.
Yeah, horror.
Yeah.
But what if I tell you that where Jesus was born and where Jesus grew up and Jesus' background, this is how they dressed?
Yes.
How would this sound to us? However, when we see a man like this, we don't think about Jesus. We think about horror and terrorism and bomb blast, gunshots, violence.
Yes.
So I'm trying to like make us understand how narratives shape what we believe and how just by looking at something or hearing something over time, we start to believe that thing as true or that thing as false. And the picture where we have some people, what does the picture tell you? What do you think they are doing in that picture?
Gossiping other person.
And who are they?
Talking about the other person, kind of whispering.
Whispering. Who are they whispering about?
Doctor, the nurses are whispering about the
doctors.
Beautiful. So from what we can see, it looks like nurses. They are nurses.
Yeah.
The only thing that makes us think they are nurses is because they are ladies.
Yes.
Of course, human being gossip, doctors gossip, physiotherapists gossip, everyone gossips. And who says this is a doctor? This can actually be an intern doing his medical posting.
Yes.
They could be doing something else like speaking loudly and saying, "Oh, you did very well today." It could be anything. But the moment we see this, what comes to our mind is nurses and gossiping. Right. I'm going somewhere with the narratives I'm trying to push and trying to show you. So what I'm asking is all the things that we've actually talked about, is it true? Or is it because it is what is considered popular when you bring people together? From our answers and from what I've said, it doesn't mean it is true all the time. It is just what our mind tells us. And why does our mind tells us that? Because of narratives that have been pushed consistently over time, that even subconsciously we start to believe. So, what is the objective of our learning today, of our session today? Is in everything that we've already talked about in this picture. So I won't bother going over objectives or study whatever. Now, branding is a strategic process of engineering how people see things. Now, I would want you to know that you have been engineered subconsciously or unconsciously into thinking what you thought in the first slide. It is not accidental, it is pure engineering. So, branding engineers how you see things, it engineers how you perceive a person, how you perceive a product, how you perceive an organization or a profession. If someone comes to your house with a cassock, the clothes of Reverend Fathers, you will feel safe. If someone comes to your house in dreadlocks and cigarettes, you feel threatened. But the person with cigarettes and dreadlock might not have a gun, and the person with cassock can hold a gun. Cassock does not stop them from carrying guns or from hurting people. That is what branding does. People in cassock have been branded to be holy people, while people with dreadlocks in Nigeria have been branded to look like criminals. So that is what branding does. Now look at these two images of paracetamol. As a nurse, which one would you rather administer?
The Emzor paracetamol.
Yeah, and why would you administer the Emzor paracetamol?
Yes. Because you are sure of the product.
Because you are sure of the product. Because if anything goes wrong, there's someone you can hold responsible.
You can call, yes.
Yeah. So they've branded themselves as the producer of that paracetamol, and they are saying hold us responsible. And when we take that paracetamol and we get well, we think about Emzo. But when you take this paracetamol, this other one, and you get well, you don't think about anything. You just give the credit to paracetamol. Right. So branding is important because it builds trust and credibility. Do patients or people generally in Nigeria trust nurses? I don't think so. It increases client loyalty. Do our patients, are they loyal to us? I don't think so. It differentiates between competitors, rivals, and colleagues. Can people distinct us separately from our fellow professionals? Can they tell per se what nurses do apart from what other professionals do? No, because we don't have a certain identity, a certain brand. To them, anyone that wears that uniform is a nurse. It could be a medical record officer, they don't care. As long as they are gossiping, they are nurses. It could be a doctor wearing a scrub, a female doctor wearing a scrub. They don't care. As long as the perception of a nurse that they have in their mind is a female, they don't care. It is a nurse. So, because they cannot differentiate us, it has led to several narratives being pushed around about nurses, and we've not been able to do anything about it. Branding attracts workers and it retains colleagues. People will be interested in studying nursing. People would want to stay in nursing if we have a very, very good branding or a very, very good brand perception. It increases employability. It establishes emotional connection. There's going to be connection between us and our patients with a good branding. Now, it also reduces price sensitivity. If we have a good image, a good public profile, public perception, people would not price us anyhow because they would value us. That is why branding is important as a nurse. So, what do people see when they see a nurse in Nigeria? What comes to their mind? Different things. They think nurses are rude, nurses are harsh, unfriendly in their communication. They believe we neglect our patients and we prioritize our phones, we chat. They believe we are gossips, we are talkatives. They believe they believe people are able to bribe us for us to attend to them in busy hospital environments. They believe the way we are paid and the way we dress is not decent enough. They believe we are prostitutes. Some think we are ignorant and we are handmaidens. Are these perceptions, are they good or bad? I think they are very, very bad.
Bad,
I
bad,
didn't
bad.
get, yes, I didn't get all these perceptions from the books. There was a research conducted actually in, I believe in JOS. I just referenced it there. If you have time, you can go through the research. It's a very, very beautiful discovery. And there are several other researches about how our patients see us as nurses, and you realize that there's evidence that it is not good. If you now start looking at these perceptions one after the other, we start to realize that it might be because of the dangers of poor branding or of not being able to differentiate who a nurse is and who a nurse is not. When you come to the hospital, the first person you see necessarily might not be a nurse. It might be the medical record officer because you want to get yourself registered. And how they treat you would register in your mind what people are. But an average Nigerian cannot tell between a record officer and a nurse, cannot tell between a receptionist and a nurse, cannot tell between an health technician, a community health extension worker, and a nurse. So to them, everybody are nurses. Now, I would not lie to you, assume that
I can't hear you, sir.
everyone.
I can hear you, sir.
Yeah. I
Okay,
can hear you.
okay, yeah, I'm glad. Um, can you adjust your audio? It might be network as well, but I think
Maybe you should move from the place she is in. She will hear.
yeah, I think so. Can
Or
I
are you
continue?
using a Glow network?
Exactly.
All
I
right.
cannot hear you, sir.
Ah,
Everyone.
I
no.
think you're the only one that
I
I
Okay.
think
can
she's
hear.
the only one.
I can hear
Okay.
you clearly.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. So I would just continue then. Right. I think I've lost my line of thoughts. Anyway, so that
Maybe
is
you should go back and come back to the Zoom meeting so that you can hear the sister that said she's very
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's better.
right. Can we continue?
Yes.
All right. So that is the importance of branding, and the nursing brand doesn't necessarily tell a good story. However, if you compare the perception 10 years ago to the perception now, it is
It's better.
improving gradually.
It's
It's much
better.
better. Right. Um, I mean, I've talked about this already. Are this perception true? Of course, most times they are not. Can you think of other professionals in the context of those perceptions when they say people are rude, extremely rude? Which other people are known to be very, very rude? Secretaries in public service offices, receptionists,
Cleaner.
generally, cleaners,
Yeah.
bankers, but
Bankers.
somehow we get the credit for it.
Yeah.
Gossiping. Gossiping is naturally something that is inherently human. Humans gossip anytime and every time. There's also another perception that female ladies
Females
gossip,
are more gossipers than male.
men
That's
gossip
the perception.
as well. But the
Yes.
perception that female gossip more than men has also affected nurses because
Mm-hmm.
nursing is a female-dominated profession, right? So, why do we have this poor perception? Several factors: media, quackery, nurses themselves, our fellow healthcare professionals, misinformation, single story. Now, I can't talk about single story without taking much of your time. So I've left a very, very nice link, a YouTube link, for you to go and watch Chimamanda Adichie's talk about the dangers of a single story. And for people that are in NCI, this video would be a must watch from today. Chimamanda talked about single story and the dangers of it. And I would expatiate more in our subsequent slides. Right. Now, rebranding nursing. Why does nursing need rebranding? Because our branding is not so good. What people think when they hear nursing is not so good. So we need to tell a different story. A single story is a story that is told in repetition over and over again, such that people start to believe it. For example, Ijebu people, they are very stingy. That is a single story because I've experienced generosity by far from so many Ijebu people. Igbo girls like money. I went to Awolowo University and I met several Igbo girls. I don't even care about money. But we have several um, single stories about people that will start to see people as a group of people instead of as individuals that are capable of making their own choices, acting right, and making their own decisions. Now, how do we rebrand nursing? The same way we rebrand virtually anything, by telling a better story when a single story exists. Currently, the single story of nursing profession is not so good, it's very negative. So as nurses, we need to tell a better story. We need to embrace both individualism and collectivism. We need to all come together as a group and we need to do things as individuals. I'll give you an example of several people that are doing things individually and giving nursing several perceptions. These acronyms are actually named, so I won't go into that. We need to identify goals, what we want to achieve. So as a group, if you have like an organization that is promoting a public image of nursing profession, you want to have a goal. You want to have a target audience. You want to have a value proposition. What do we bring to the table? You want to revamp narratives. You want to change people's narratives. You want to brainwash people, or let's say rewash people's brain because they have been brainwashed already. You have to be online consistently, show your presence, let them see you. When they open the TV, let them see you. When they open this, let them see you. I'll give examples of when these things has happened before in our lives. You need to showcase your skills. Nurses are very skilled people, very, very skilled. Go to teaching hospitals, go to primary healthcare centers, and see the several crazy procedures that nurses pass through, despite the fact that they don't even have enough equipment to get them done. Nurses somehow navigated COVID, Ebola virus, monkeypox without adequate PPE, and we didn't have fatality among nurses. Is that no magic? Countries with high technological advancement had more death rates of their nurses than we had in Nigeria. So what am I saying? We are extremely skilled, but the general public don't know this because we don't go out there to showcase our skills. Nurses do procedures. We don't see it out there. Nurses achieve things. We don't make noise about it. So we need to start doing these things. We also need to network aggressively. We need to meet people. It is very important. We cannot achieve without creating networks, attending events, meeting people, and expanding our network base. Right. So our talk is about rebranding nursing using technology and media. Right. Tech is very important. And we are not making use of tech in nursing in Nigeria. At least not at 1% level. And I'll just tell you examples of things that we should be exploring that we are not currently exploring. First of all, nursing and health practice in Nigeria is underfunded. We have little or nothing. Several teaching hospitals in Nigeria without defibrillators, without functioning machines. I've lost a friend because there was no functioning machine in the hospital. As little as light, water. So when we start talking about sophisticated equipment, um, it is it is going too far. We need to actually have basics. However, I want to call our attention to things that generally would improve patient outcome. Why am I saying this? Because many patients did not have to die, but they have died because we don't have enough to manage them. But somehow in their weirdest imagination, they think nurses did not do enough. We can't do magic. If an oxygen needs to keep you alive, the nurse cannot keep you alive because she's not the oxygen. If intubation needs to keep you alive, a nurse cannot keep you alive because she's not the intubation. If you need to be in the ICU, a functioning ICU, and you are not there, the nurse cannot be the ICU. So we end up having fatalities and people dying unnecessarily. And when that happens, they get angry, they come back to the hospital, they abuse the doctors and nurses, they beat the nurses because I've been a victim of that before in the past when they came to beat us because the patient died. And we actually tried our best. So if tech is available, or if the government and private sector individuals invest more, many of these things will not happen. And some way or the other, the public image would get better. However, that is just talking about the basics. Can someone tell me a special medical devices that you've come across recently? Anyone? Special medical device, something that you think you've not seen before that you've come across recently? Something that I think is
Hello,
special.
good morning. There
Good
is a
morning.
device that I am even selling where a student who have just graduated have manufactured with a China factory where it's digitalized. You do your blood pressure with as if it's an home run. You have where you can do urine testing. You can do glucose test with that one machine. Very simple, quiet, and user friendly.
Beautiful. Thank you. Is there
Mm.
anyone, any other person?
Yes, good morning. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Yeah, there's this. It's not just recently, but I've seen it before. But I'm still very wild about it. There's diathermy. Like diathermy used during surgery. That instead of you using blade, they will use the diathermy to cut, and at the same time, it's cutting, it's sucking out blood. It's reducing bleeding as the surgery is going on. I think it's a very good device.
Yeah. Well, any other person? One last person. When was the last time you saw a special medical device?
Sorry, we have also used a telemedicine where you
Yeah.
can use where you are in the remote area, they can diagnose even from US. The specialists will look at it wherever you put it as you point to the part. They will
Yeah.
read it, diagnose, prescribe, and you treat internationally.
Thank you. So the bad public image nurses is only Nigerian nurses, so most of the time, or for most perceptions. Because I went through research, it's about image of nurses in other countries like the UK, like the US. Nursing is the most trusted in the UK, tens of thousands. And these nurses used to practice in Nigeria, but somehow they suddenly get to the UK and they start becoming trusted. Is it because nurses are not trustworthy? Inherent problem with the country and not with nurses. These are narratives that we need to start pushing out. What is the difference between a Nigerian nurse abroad and a Nigerian nurse in Nigeria? When they travel abroad, the knowledge does not suddenly increase. While employers would train you and make you understand the new environments that you are in, you are exposed to a better system, better technology, and better support mechanisms, and even better pay. And suddenly you become a better nurse. So, is it the fault of Nigerian nurses for having certain perceptions? Not necessarily. And as nurses, we have to start making the general public understand this fact. Now, telemedicine and remote monitoring, the world is going far. People have people with diabetes mellitus, they get insulin automatically with a device that reads your blood sugar level and that tells itself that you need to take insulin and that gives you that insulin automatically. There are syringe drivers. There are several remote monitoring medication administration devices that help improve patient outcome. Simple example. And other examples are the examples that you have already given. These devices, this technological advancement improves patient outcome. There are several administrative tasks that nurses do that we shouldn't be doing. Nurses sit down and write out handovers manually with pen and paper. It is unheard of. There are many tasks that can be digitalized. It is too far-fetched to start talking about artificial intelligence now because we are not even doing the basics. So I wouldn't even be talking about AI. That is how bad things are. Video surveillance in the hospitals. There's no point asking a nurse to be the one monitoring the gate to prevent patients from absconding and not paying money when the security can do the job, when there can be a CCTV camera. It is even cheaper to have a CCTV camera monitoring things than putting a nurse who should be looking at that patient as a security at the gate. It's crazy. It doesn't make sense to ask nurses to do billing when you can get somebody who is a professional in that field to get the billing done. When you can have systems that can automate billing and get it done. So these distractions doesn't allow nurses to focus on patient care. It harms our patients and further destroys our public image. These are narratives that we need to start pushing out. How would tech improve the public image of nursing? By making sure that as private sector individuals, if you are investing in private sector, invest in technology, respect nurses, and look for professionals to do what they are supposed to do. A nurse is not a security. A nurse is not an accountant. A nurse is not a receptionist. A nurse is not a medical record officer. A nurse is not a doctor. A nurse is a nurse is a nurse. Right. So we need to showcase how technology improves efficiency and enhances patient care in the media. We need to position nurses as leaders in the evolving health space. Technology would position nurses as leaders in the health space while things are changing. How many nurses in Nigeria would be able to say they are digital nurses? I was very glad when Nurse Akinbuade, when I saw Nurse Akinbuade's profile as an insurance nurse. That's an evolving field in nursing. I've seen several other nurses going into little going into fields that are not well known and bringing it out into limelight and getting everybody to get familiar with those fields. That is what investing in tech will do. That is what tech will do for nursing in Nigeria. It will create a wide range of nursing roles. In the UK, in the US, you see several roles: digital nursing, virtual ward nursing, remote consultation nursing. Currently, I work as an urgent and emergency care clinician where I do virtual consultations on the phone for an ambulance service, triaging people that are in their own houses, providing solutions, sending people to their houses and getting them treated. Most times without even going to the hospital. That is what tech can do. And when these roles are established and well positioned in Nigeria, a nurse would not be seen the way a nurse was seen 10 years ago or the way a nurse is seen currently. Am I making sense, everyone?
Yes, sir,
Yes.
you have.
All right, thank you.
You
So,
are.
thank you. There's something called illusionary truth effect. I've talked about the single story. Illusionary truth, if you can read about this, you can write it down, read about it much later. It's a very, very broad topic. Illusionary truth effect is a concept whereby people would believe anything and anything if you continue to tell them over and over and over again. If you bring the most wicked person in this world and continue to tell him you are a good person, you are a good person, he would believe it. That is why we have wicked leaders doing wicked things because people around them keep telling them something different and they have a different perception of themselves. That is the illusionary truth effect. Using that effect as as a baseline, it would mean that the general public would believe anything that they are fed constantly. It means if nurses constantly show up and tell a different story of nursing to the general public, they would start to believe over time. It means they will stop believing that nurses are prostitutes, nurses are wicked, nurses are this, nurses are that. When we start telling them a different story and explaining why they think what they think and telling them what the truth is in actual sense. We've done this before in NCI where we've had to combat actual quacks when we go out to speak to them and they realize, oh no, I shouldn't be doing this. Oh no, I think this is actually bad. We've also had content where we see comments in our comment section and people say, oh wow, this is true. Thank you for letting us know. That is what the media can do. I'll also give you several examples. We need perception from stereotypes. I'll give you several stereotypes where I said challenge stereotypes with media content. One, the most recent one, somebody in the US came out and said there is Christian genocide in Nigeria. What that means is that people are killing Christians in their numbers. Nigerian government understands the impact of a single story and the impact of um, propaganda, branding, and rebranding. And several people in government started coming out to tell a different story, such that we don't even know what to believe again. I know several Christians are killed every time. In my state in Ondo, in Owo, people were killed in 2022, I believe. Christians while worshiping in a church. Several churches have been attacked. Several Christian communities have been attacked. In Southern Kaduna, several tragedies has happened in Southern Kaduna. But the government is saying Nigeria is going through security challenges currently, and both Christians and Muslims are being killed. Is it true? Yes. But does it mean that genocide is not happening? Because they are countering the Western stereotype with their own personal stereotype. So that is what we need to do as nurses. While people tell their own stories, nurses need to come out and tell a different story. The true story media. media now. And it is by being on social. Sorry, one of the ways to change narratives is on being on social media. We can be on print media, in papers, on television. We can be on radio, but social media is extremely important because it is very easy. It is easier for somebody to go on Instagram than to listen to news or to watch a program. We need to foster collective voice. Nurses need to speak one voice against several issues. For example, it is shameful to see a nurse that supports quackery. It is extremely shameful. I automatically lose respect for a person when they start forming quackery. We have to come together in one voice to start saying the same thing. Nurses cannot be saying one thing and other nurses will be saying another thing. One important fact, we need to have a clear policy for media and social media as organizations, as as um as hospitals. When you are working for an hospital, there are some things that you shouldn't be allowed to do as a nurse on social media, especially when it compromises your patient safety. There are some things you should not say. There should be consequences for action. I understand that we might have ward managers or in this meeting, we might have nursing leaders. Please, wherever you go, always have it at the back of your mind that we need a clear policy framework for media and for social media, such that there will be consequences for actions when people choose to be stupid. So I've talked about tech, I've talked about media, and now we can rebrand nursing using these two very
So we can hear you.
I don't seem to hear anything anymore.
Can you hear me, please?
Yes.
Okay. Yes,
Yes,
we're
yes, we
audible
can
now.
hear you now.
Can you see my screen?
No, we can't see your
No.
screen, but yeah, you.
Okay, I'll try to share it again. Can you see it now?
Yes,
Yes,
Yes.
we
we
can
can see
hear
your
Okay,
you.
screen now.
perfect. Thank you. So we started NCR in 2015 with a couple of colleagues, and our vision was clear. We want to raise a generation of young nurses that are proud of what they do, that are devoid of inferiority complex, and that command respect everywhere they go. And what what affects nurses? Then we realized that many nurses were not proud of being nurses. There was an element of inferiority complex when they see their fellow colleagues in healthcare, in health sciences, and they don't necessarily command that respect. And that was what we wanted to change then. And the way we wanted to change it was by changing narratives, showcasing nursing achievement, and positioning nursing as a formidable profession within Obafemi Awolowo University campus then. And that was our vision, and that is still our vision. We want young nurses to be proud. We want young nurses to know what they have in nursing profession, to not just make careless statements like, "Oh, I'm going to leave this stupid nursing for you" on social media. How do we operate? Online, offline, on social media. We make movies, we make music, we reorientate, we do campaigns, research, and we invest in infrastructure, technology infrastructure to help shape these narratives. I'll just give you a milestone of what we've done over the years to explain how we've been able to achieve this. So when we started, we used to, when they not achieve something, we would um, make a design, a graphic design, would print banners and we'll put it around campus in OAU so that students would see it in the morning when they are going for classes. And someone will believe in their brain. When they see a nurse, they will start thinking, oh yeah, these people are actually worth something. And then we had a senior colleague, Greg, who invented the surgical headlamp. It was a very, very nice invention in 2015. He had grants from, I've forgotten that one international company. We celebrated that. We pasted it around campus, and people saw it and they were like happy. One is a student, two is in OAU, three is a nurse, things like that. We also had a student who was a radio presenter, and he showed up in radio station every day doing sports presentation, despite how difficult it is in nursing school then. And we showcased that as well. There was somebody in Unijos who was doing amazingly well. We did that. We sent the graphics to University of Jos, and they pasted it around campus as well. So this was how we started back in OAU. Then we started having conferences where we bring nurses together and do sort of reorientation, tell them about the single story, dangers of a single story, and how we can tell a different story. We had it in Osun State, that was in Ife as well. We had it in Jos, where we had nursing awards for people in Plateau State. We collaborated with an organization, then I've forgotten the name of the organization. We had times when we had when Lautech had programs and they had to invite NCI to do some reorientation as well. And later on, we realized we had to divert social media, because what social media does for you is it gives you audacity to do certain things that you would necessarily not be able to do physically. For example, people say nasty things on Twitter to people that they cannot even look up in the face normally. So you can push narratives and hide behind the mask. You can achieve things without necessarily coming out. For example, I'm not a very public person. I don't like myself being out there. So NCI helps me to put nothing out there without necessarily showing my face every time, such that I'm able to maintain my private life. That was what social media did for us. We had nursing story online challenge where people told their experiences of attending to a patient, especially that was very emotional to them. It was online as well. We normally give tokens as gifts when we do these challenges. We also had one where we told people to come out and tell stories to promote the public profile of nursing. We had a very important landmark where we opened a studio in Ile-Ife. It's currently opened. And what do we do in the studio? It is free for nurses. They come and create content to promote the image of nursing in Nigeria. So as long as you are a nurse and you want to promote nursing, it's free of charge. We have gadgets, equipment, it's well set up, and it's in Obafemi University. In future, we will be having several studios across Nigeria where people can come together and push narratives so that we can change these perceptions. In 2023, we had our first movie, Alabere. I think many nurses know about the movie, and it was a movie campaigning against quackery. We had soundtrack where we originally produced the music ourselves. We also entered into a partnership then after Alabere with Institute of Nursing Research Nigeria, because we want to do a research that will show us the number of people that have died as a result of quackery in Nigeria. Because without research, there are many things that we can't achieve. We don't have evidence when we open our mouth and we talk. We are professionals, so we have to talk with evidence. They are busy with the research now. I think they are data collection or analysis. I've forgotten. But I asked for feedback a couple of days ago. So we are still in that partnership. We also started podcasts where we bring nurses, people that are not nurses, general public, to talk about nursing issues and re-educate the general public. I think we've had about 16, 17, or 18 episodes on YouTube. And we have fairly decent view. Our highest view should be about 1,004, 1,005. And the lowest view should be in 300s or 200s, I'm not sure, on YouTube. Our Instagram is decent. We are on Facebook, we are on Twitter, we are on TikTok, constantly putting out content and shaping narratives. We also had work against quackery with Nonsa National. Sometimes was it last year or this year? I think I'm not sure, but we had that work against quackery. And also this year we produced, the work was this year. Also this year we produced our second movie titled On Mass, and this is uh the movie poster on this slide. We also had original soundtrack, something about because one general starting when you see a quack, the higher killers. So music shapes narrative, movies shape narrative, content shape narrative. I want to flood these things out. We've been alive for the past 10 years, but we hope to be alive for much longer, and we believe that we would achieve more every year as we move forward. We have several teams, social media team that do social media, content creation team that creates content is fairly new, nursing unscripted team that do our podcasts, events, partnership and compliance that deals with our events and partnerships, NCI studio team in charge of our studio, graphic design team that do our graphic design, content writing team, the team in charge of our writing. That is what we do at NCI, trying to shape the image of nursing, trying to rebrand nursing using media and technology. Um, that is going to be it today. I put this slide in a rush. It was in a very very quick rush, so I haven't added the referencing. If you would need references for this slide, please reach out to me privately. I would gladly give you the references so that you can have articles to read to understand more about what I've been talking about. There are YouTube links I want you to watch. That is the one for Chimamanda Adichie. There is also the theory of illusion that I want you to understand. Like, it's a very, very broad topic so that you understand how narratives are very, very important. Finally, we are specially ordained for this vocation, so we are going nowhere. Personally, I'm going nowhere. True nurses never stop. You continue to be a nurse, whether you like it or not. And yes, I am proud to be a nurse. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, sir. Thank you. God bless you, sir.
Wow, 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 wow. Thank you so much, Mr. Please, can you
We
just
actually
in the
don't know.
comment section say thank you to Mr. Tobi Omolere? It's so good to have you this afternoon. Oh, it's
Thank
so
you so much,
amazing.
sir.
I can say
This is
that
a wonderful section.
again we have been fired up. We can say we've been fired up again. Please, can you say thank you to him in the comment section? And then I want you to tell your neighbor, tell him or her, say, tell your story. One thing that I would pick from his section is about storytelling. If you want people to believe a particular concept, just make sure you tell a story consistently with that concept, and you will see many people believing in it. I remember while we were growing up, there are certain stories about the tortoise, the snail, the farmer, and those stories, they shaped our childhood. And growing up, whenever I see a tortoise or snail, those stories still come to my memory because those were the stories that shaped our childhood. And as much as our parents were using those stories to teach us about patience, about about the race of life, about relationship and all, because they used those animals, it still formed a kind of stronghold in our memory. So tell your story. And with the statistics of the people that use social media, the statistics says that about 5 billion people use social media. About 5 billion people use social media globally. And that is about 60% of the global population, which means that if we keep pushing it, if we keep pushing the image of nursing that we want people to see, if we keep pushing what we want people to know about nurses, in the next 5 years, 10 years, I believe that we are going to achieve. In fact, 10 years is even too much to achieve that. So once again, we want to say thank you so much to uh Mr. Tobi Omolere. I want to say thank you so much for that wonderful section. And if you have any questions for Mr. Tobi, I want to believe that Mr. Tobi is still on this call. Please, I am very sure that people will have questions for you. Please, if you have questions for Mr. Tobi, can you just put them in the comment section or unmute your device? Unmute your device. Let us take those questions and see how it goes. Thank you so much. Okay, also I want to quickly say this about I just checked recently, and I saw that in Nigeria we have about between 110,000 to 180,000 nurses. And I'm very sure that every of those 180 nurses have a phone. So if every one of us, or let me just say half of the total population of nurses in Nigeria, go on social media and begin to rewrite the narrative. Trust me, trust me, trust me. In the next 2 years, 5 years, things will be different. Things will be different. The world is now digitalized. I want to believe that, or let me just say, I believe that social media is the second world. In fact, people live on social media more than they live in the physical. Many people spend much time on social media than they spend, in the physical, like relating to people and all of that. So if half of the total population of nurses in Nigeria begin to go online, begin to showcase themselves, their ideas, what we can do, what makes us stand out, our practices, our belief system, our ideologies, people will begin to listen to us. And of course, this would redeem the image of nursing in Nigeria and beyond. So once again, I want to say thank you so much to Mr. Tobi Omolere. I remember that I saw Alabere sometimes ago. Yeah, I saw that movie sometimes ago, and I was like, oh wow, this is a good one. So please, I want to encourage us. You can go on YouTube. You will find Alabere on YouTube. It is by a nursing connection initiative. Let us share. Let us share with our friends, with our family members, with our church members, with those people that will say, God punished the nurses, God disappointed the nurses, I gave birth without doing this and that during testimony. Let's share it with our friends and family. Let us redeem the image of nursing. And I have questions for Mr. Tobi.
I have a question. Sorry, can I go ahead?
Why don't you do it? You want to
Yes, please go ahead with your question, please.
So much for the session. God bless you, sir.
okay,
Okay, so I just wanted to know, like, you were trying to push against, let me say, regular the regular narratives and all. So I wanted to know, like, how were you able to do that even with some came along background in situations like that?
Okay.
okay, so
Did you
sorry,
get my
my
question?
network kicked me out. So this is the question. Sometimes ago, I was sorry, I'm not really a regular. Uh, I came across a video of a registered nurse, and that person was making a video, and I just saw that as much as we advise people to use social media, the proper use of social media must also be emphasized. And seriously, I was doubting if the person was actually a registered nurse. But when I saw the hospital the person was working with, I felt okay, this certain hospital would not employ quacks. But I saw, these nurses that they dance also on TikTok, on social media. They talk to people about sexuality, about abortion, about all of those stuff, but not in a professional manner. Not in a professional manner. So Again, it seems as if the ones that are beginning to use social media do not even know the proper use of social media, or I would say that they are just curious about the
Hello,
monetization
please
stuff
mute
and
the
all of
other
that. I
person
saw
that's
that
talking.
some of the ones that are even using social media, they are not even painting the image of nurses. And this brings me to a place of the motive. Now, the motive you have when you are going on social media will determine the kind of content that you're going to ask that in situations like that, what are the steps that can be taken? Because some of these videos might even damage the image we are trying to actually portray, even though they are registered nurses, even though they are trained nurses. So this is my question, sir.
We don't start building from from when we graduate. We start now.
Right. Thank you. There's someone's video or someone talking on the background.
Oh, nursing leadership.
I used to send it to the
Yeah. Is it how to
your life after nursing. No,
We need to get.
like innovation. This is the topic. The thing is audacious innovation. Like beyond bedside. I'm to fẹ́ kú síbẹ̀. You know,
There's is we
not
need to
die
stop
there. They are
we need to stop
complaining.
the background voice coming. It's
By
quite
doing that,
distracting.
oh, you all feel yeah, that's not possible. You know, big game money. Like, oh, yeah, power no, she share
Can we mute our devices, please?
Very where how are we going to arrange to just tell us so that we can help
Can someone
and help
can
you.
someone call the person's attention? It's, I would I'll provide the links. Yeah, I'm trying to check. It's reach out to me. Anyhow, my WhatsApp, Instagram, anywhere, TikTok, Tobi Omolere. That's my name everywhere. LinkedIn, anywhere. You can reach out to me anyhow. I'm very easy to contact. Right. So let's go into the other questions. So the first thing is, how did I cope with challenges? I'm a very stubborn person. Very, very stubborn. What challenges did I face? I wouldn't see them as challenges. They were just lessons that needed to help me evolve and help the organization evolve and help the vision evolve in itself. So I remembered in school, I had a bit of issues with some lecturers with certain programs and events that we were doing. And that being a face of a brand persisting sometimes. This is when I realized it might not give us the best results, but collectivism would give us a better result. So that was when we also moved online, basically, to help us evolve. So when there's a challenge, just study the challenge. I mean, let me just say it this way. Nursing is so perfect that nursing process gives you solution to every problem. The hard part they taught us in school, you just assess that situation, look at what the problem is, and plan to get it solved. Implement and see if you have solved it. If not, rinse and repeat, go over it again. That's just it. So I see challenges as something we need to get over and achieve it. That's the first thing. The second thing is I'm not scared of failure. I I can fail 27 times, but I won't stop. So we might try to do something and we don't get it done exactly, but we'll continue to do it. So there has to be an enduring spirit. Um, our first movie, I think we had a better view than we, but we don't plan to stop to make music. If we don't get certain number of views in our podcast, we don't plan to stop making podcasts because the number of views is not why we are doing those things. So challenges are not very important, but not stopping. Just consistency is the important side of things. So about people and how they use social media. First of all, they are adults. It is difficult to tell an adult what to do because sometimes they have their own reasons for doing things. People make money on social media. People make money exposing their body on social media, people pushing certain narratives on social media. And we wouldn't tell them family because they are nurses. So their loyalty towards nursing is not enough to keep them away from pushing negative perceptions of nursing profession. How can we solve this? As I said in the slide, there has to be clear policy on social media use from nursing and midwifery council. So you cannot claim to be a nurse and say certain things about nursing on social media and hope to still continue to be a nurse. There has to be there has to be consequences for it. So, for example, you can't go on social media doing things like a prostitute and you continue to call yourself a nurse. It's absolutely fine if you're on social media and you don't identify with nursing on social media and you do those things. Fine. So when they see you, they don't think you're a nurse. But when you are identified as a nurse and you go outside to say something that undermines nursing as a profession, to do something that compromises patient safety, then we need to be having words with you. So as organizations, as leaders, there has to be clear policy on media. There must be consequences for that. So about other people, we can't do anything about it. The only other solution is um, as individuals or collectively as a group on social media, we can agree to make certain things antisocial such that it will be unacceptable. For example, if you say things that doesn't promote the image of nursing or say things that further damages the image of nursing on social media, uh, we would not all be happy with you. Something like I don't know how well to put it, but I hope you understand what I'm saying. So yes, it's difficult and it will take ages, but it involves policy, it involves individuals, it involves organizations, it involves all of us. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, sir, for that section and also for answering those questions. And everyone, you will believe with me that nurses are intelligent. Nursing is great. Actually, nursing is endowed with intelligent, great people. And I believe that just like Mr. Toby said, he says that he wouldn't stop being a nurse, is going nowhere. And I believe that with people like this in the nursing profession, we can say that we have a future to look up to, and we are also are becoming the future of nursing profession. So this section is actually coming to a close. Ideally, we should have finished by 12 so that we can have a 2-hour break for the next section that is coming up by 2 p.m. So once again, I want to say thank you so much to Mr. Tobi Omolere on behalf of Mr. Kwelumi Akimbwade, on behalf of Insure Health Consults and Insurance Nursing Community. We want to say thank you for sharing your wealth of knowledge with us this morning, and we hope to see. Okay, can we call him Nostobi? Of course, he's a nurse. Yes, we can call him Nostobi. So thank you, Nostobi, for that wonderful section. And again, I want to say thank you for everyone that has joined this section today. I believe that we have been impacted, and I believe that we will begin to see the fruits, the impact of this section in our lives. So we are bringing this section to a close, and we'll be meeting by 2 p.m. And by 2 p.m.,